Last week, I discussed what every realtor involved in condo sales needs to know to adequately protect their sellers from having a buyer walk away from the deal without consequence and to protect their buyers from unexpected special assessments after closing. Similarly, there are certain disclosure requirements when selling single-family and townhomes that are located within a community with a mandatory homeowners association. The Florida statutes set forth a disclosure summary that must be presented to a prospective purchaser before entering into a contract for sale. The disclosure summary notifies the buyer that they'll be obligated to be a member of the homeowners association, that there are restrictions governing the use and occupancy of the property within the association, the dollar amount of the assessments that they'll have to pay, and the fact that non-payment of those assessments can result in a lien on their property. If the disclosure summary is not provided to the buyer prior to the execution of a sale and purchase contract, then the buyer can void the contract within 3 days after receipt of the disclosure summary or prior to closing, whichever occurs first. This means that if the buyer hasn't been provided with the disclosure summary and changes their mind while sitting at the closing table prior to signing, then the contract can be voided and the buyer is entitled to receive their deposit back. The intent of this disclosure requirement is to ensure that buyers are making fully informed decisions about the cost of owning a home within a mandatory association, as well as the restrictions that will be placed on them. But a seller who is unaware of the disclosure requirement can find themselves putting their home back on the market on the eve of what could have been their closing date, and with no compensation for that lost time. I have personal experience with how seriously courts take this disclosure requirement because my partner and I represented first-time home buyers in their dispute with sellers who failed to provide a completed disclosure summary to them, yet attempted to keep the buyer's deposit funds when they canceled the contract. The trial and appellate courts sided with the buyers who were eventually made whole with the return of their deposit plus interest. So if you're thinking of selling a home that's within a homeowners association in Florida and you'd like an attorney to guide you through the process, send a text to 561-225-2676 to set up a time to speak. It's never too soon to discuss a potential sale with a real estate attorney.